Where has Agent Venom been? Agent Venom is back from the dead, so what is his newest mission? This is the Comicstorian channel where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be covering Extreme Carnage #1. This is a series of books that are broken up into a bunch of individuals, so I wanted to cover #1 because, guys, Agent Venom is back. He came back at the end of the King in Black series, but this is his first time as Flash Thompson in a comic. Also, Carnage is back, and this series already looks insane and super promising, so I'm excited to be bringing it to you guys. So let's just get into Extreme Carnage, issue #1. And if you like this video, consider subscribing to our channel, hitting that like button, and check out our Patreon down below. For $2, you get early access to a ton of our videos. Thank you guys, and let's get into the comic. As the people gather in the park, Senator Peter Crane tells everyone that the planet is their place. Theirs. They like to think of themselves as the top of the food chain, don't they? Kings of the hill. After all, if the highest rung of the evolutionary ladder isn't occupied by them, who else would it be? They live in a brave new world now, friends, and they've been disillusioned about their place in it. Their world is filled with predators, monsters. They shouldn't have been surprised. They should have known for years that they're not alone. First, the mutants came for them. Now, the aliens. Even on their good days, superhuman threats run free right under your noses. You try not to think about it. You try to go on about your days. You try to go on about your lives. You tell yourselves that it won't be me. I'm not bothering anyone. The predators won't come for me. Will they? It won't be me who dies when the next bridge falls. It won't be my children when the next school explodes. It won't be my town when the next alien tyrant attacks. Except that when the symbiotes came, they came for us all. Never again, my friends. Never again. This park was recently marred by tragedy, an alien attack in which 154 human beings lost their lives. The president has announced the construction of a memorial here, a chunk of stone that he will dedicate 2 weeks from today. Is that enough? For those of you who have lost people to the invasion, we need action! We need leaders who will tell the Tony Starks, the Charles Xaviers, and anyone else who harbors aliens no more. That is why today I am announcing my partnership with the newly reorganized and refocused Friends of Humanity, with whom I am introducing the Bright Right Act, which will ensure the human race is not forced to share this planet. I have called on the president to join us in this fight. So far, the White House has not accepted. Which is why, next month in Washington, D.C., as the president's supporters gather around another meaningless piece of stone, the Friends of Humanity will be protesting with a gathering of its own. Join us in 2 weeks as we call on Washington to denounce this violence, to come together to drive out the alien threat for humanity. But while Peter is giving his speech over at the airport, Dr. Miller steps off the plane and sees a sign for him asking if they'd sent a car for him. They're too kind. The young man picking him up says, "Wow, you're a lot younger than I expected." And Miller tells him it's just clean living. Ready to go? As the two walk to the car, Miller says, "Man, I am starving. Can't remember the last time I was this hungry." And the young man asks, "Didn't they feed you on the plane?" Miller begins to flip through the radio stations, telling him that some of the flight attendants' brains got in his mouth, so he wouldn't call that a meal. Just then, the young man's phone pings with a message, and as he stares at it, Miller asks, "What's wrong? You get some bad news?" "Who's the text from?" The young man says, "It's, Dr. Miller." Miller's voice begins to change into a gruff, twisted tone. "Well, that is some bad news!" As Carnage begins to come out, he stares at the young man, turning the volume of the radio up. And as the blood splatters along the inside of the car, the young man tries to get out, but Carnage pulls him back in, blood beginning to pour out of the bottom of the door. Later that night, Flash Thompson begins to unload a truck of food, asking the other guy, Hank, if he needs a hand. Hank says that he isn't the one with the prosthetic legs. He should be the one asking. Flash laughs. Okay. Take it easy, old man. Nobody's going to take it from you. How's Tessa? Hank says that she's good. Glad to have him around again. She never liked him going overseas. Just He likes working for the shelter, and he knows a lot of vets really need this stuff, but he just doesn't want to be moving boxes his whole life, you know? Been thinking about getting into security work. Flash asks him, really? And Hank goes on, yeah, Army wasn't for me, but that intensity, man. Every day I just had to turn the volume up so high sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to feel like anything matters after that. Heck, Lawlin is on security detail right now for some pop star. He's out there using the stuff that we learned, seeing the world, living the good life, Flash. You'd like it. And not just the cause of travel and fancy stuff. Lawlin's been doing something that matters, something that takes focus, a reason to keep his guard up. He's keeping people safe. Flash tells him, yeah, I get that. I just don't talk to a lot of people. But if I hear something, I'll... But before he could finish his sentence, he hears thumping in his mind, and when he blinks, he finds himself in the passenger seat of a bloody car. He looks around asking, wait, where am I? And when he looks over, he asks, who the hell are they? Carnage, still taking Dr. Miller's form, tells him, it's family. Flash realizes what's going on. No, you're not Cletus. Cletus is dead. And Carnage bursts out laughing. That's your reasoning? There's only dead men in this car, Eugene Thompson. Some a bit more than others, mind you. Flash asks what did he do, and Carnage tells him, spare me the waterworks. We're family. Don't pretend to be all civilized on me. You know the things that have happened. You can smell the blood. You know what it's like, right? To open up a man's neck, slop around, and what comes out? You wanted to crack a bad guy's ribs open. You wanted to sink your arms in the guts, like a Christmas turkey. As Carnage rips out of Dr. Miller's body, he yells, follow that pull. Your family is waiting for you. And we're gonna change the world together. Flash begins to change into his anti-Venom suit, telling him, my name is Flash, and if I see you again, it'll be the last thing. But that's when he hears someone calling for him, and when he blinks, he finds himself about ready to kill Hank. Flash pulls himself back, asking, Hank, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for you to find out like this. He begins to run away, but there's another thump as Iron Man stands in his way. Tony opens up the helmet, telling him, you're a hard man to track down when you're not anti-venoming people. Flash asks what is he doing here, and Tony tells him, look, I'm not here to fight. I thought we might be able to help each other. We both got a serious problem coming our way. So a short while later, Tony brings Flash into his lab, and as Tony opens up one of the doors to the testing room, Flash sees Extremis. Tony tells him that this might be more of his expertise, but they're calling it an Extrembiate. A symbiote fused with Extremis tech. You can control it like any other armor. But Flash yells, it's a living thing! There's no controlling it! Not long term! Tony tells him that he brought him in for something else, actually. Since Null's invasion, he's been scouring video from all over the world for potential symbiote activity. And that's how he found Flash. But not all of his goopy cousins have been unloading food at homeless shelters. Last week, a boat was found drifting in the Indian Ocean with the remains of 4 Somali pirates sloshing around on the deck. No bullet holes, no signs of bladed weapons, just viscera. The next day, a Somali warlord and his militia were found the same way. I have reliable intel that a rep with the American Arms Division of Alchemex was here. Today, that man stepped off a plane in the JFK International Airport about 10 minutes before the remains of 2 flight attendants and a passenger were found. Flash tells him, it's Carnage. He's here. Tony tells him, no, Cletus is dead. Flash tells him, that's not how it works. Dead or not, his consciousness is still on the hive. When a host and a symbiote bond, the host can leave an imprint behind. There's never been a stronger symbiotic bond than Carnage and Cletus. I can feel it now. I saw Carnage driving down the interstate with the top down and a corpse in the back. He spoke to me. I'm not sure if it's the connection that he shared with Null, but he's stronger than he used to be. The way that he was talking, it sounded like he had something big planned. Tony says that he might have an idea. Since Null's invasion, every man, woman, and child on Earth now knows about symbiotes, and because of that, they're scared to death. We can't afford another high-profile symbiote attack right now. A lot of people want every non-human living on Earth rounded up, friendly or otherwise. And nobody's banging that drum louder than Senator Peter Crane of New York. Crane is staking his career on the anti-alien movement. He's the new face of the Friends of Humanity, who no one's taken seriously in 10 years. He has strong ties to Alchemex. Pretty sure Crane's in danger. We need someone who already understands and can find big symbiote threats before they make the news. You said that there's a pull towards Carnage. Follow that. See where it leads, Flash. If you're right, it has something to do with Peter Crane and we need to warn him. Shadow him. If anything happens to him, he'll be a martyr. The Friends of Humanity will be the new normal. The next day, Peter Crane holds up at another rally, but in the crowd, Flash is scanning the area looking for anything. He says that he can feel Carnage there. He wanted him to be close by. But then Flash begins to hear Carnage's voice, telling him that they're all wondering when he'd show up. "I've got all your brothers and sisters waiting with me." Everyone turns to look at Flash, and Carnage goes on. "Damn near every symbiote Venom has ever spawned is right here around you. But you're not here to join them, are you?" As the guns are drawn, Flash changes costumes and begins running, stating that Crane is not in danger. Crane is Carnage! So later that night, Flash waits in an alleyway when Hank passes by. He calls out to him asking if he was serious about the security job, because as a thing, it could be really dangerous. Hank tells him that no matter what it is, he's in. Flash tells him, good, it'll be a government job. Senator Peter Crane's hiring. Elsewhere, Peter Crane is sitting with a news anchor, and the anchor asks what does he say about the claims that his anti-alien message is merely an attempt to capitalize on people's fears to launch a future presidential bid. Crane says that he'd say that it isn't about him, it's about them, all of humankind. My critics like to pretend that the Friends of Humanity are old news, but the name has taken on a new relevance now. The For Humanity rally will prove that. And when we come together next month, when people see how many of us there are and what we can do, I think the world's going to be in for a big surprise. And there you guys have it. A shorter one today because we're going to be kind of reverting back to our older style of just covering one comic, be it one issue or 6 issues in a single video, but you get Extreme Carnage today. Now, I'm stupid excited about this one, and I don't know how they're handling it because the next stories are Extreme Carnage Phage and Extreme Carnage Scream. So check back here on a daily basis to see which comic book storyline we're going to be covering next right here at the Comicstorian channel. And if you want to support us further, you want to get early access to a lot of these videos, go check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.